some stories?
So I can give you the example of a first investment. This is a company called Document Crunch, but we had high conviction on Josh because he'd been winning all the startup competitions. He'd been building a product which was extremely good. He had the best kind of founder market fit because he was a lawyer in construction and he was trying to automate the contracting process. And we were very compelled by everything that he was building. But at this point, at the time we invested, he didn't even have a full product team. His product was outsourced. So the first thing that we did after investment was to onboard the product team, right? And then we worked with him to put together channel partnerships. So it's only been 3 years when we invested. He's like grown 40x in those 3 years.
Hi, Vivin. Thank you so much for being here. So thanks to Cool Water Capital Winter, I interviewed him and then I could get this opportunity to interview Vivin. So could you please quick introduction about yourself?
So Zacua is an early stage venture capital fund. We invest from pre-seed to Series A. We invest primarily in the built environment. And when I say built environment, it's anything around us that doesn't move. It could be infrastructure for data centers. It could be stadiums, wastewater plants, roads. It could be commercial buildings, housing, and so on and so forth. So what we're trying to do is one, make this more productive and efficient in terms of bringing topics like robotics, AI, modular construction, and so on and so forth. What we are trying to do is decarbonize this. So So basically bring in sustainability by making sure that we have newer materials which are lower carbon. We do carbon tracking. We look at circular economy in terms of decommissioning of buildings and so on. We look at building efficiency and so on. So sustainability is a big focus for us. And finally, building resiliency. So how do we build resiliency, new supply chains, better infrastructure, better monitoring of infrastructure over a period of time. You look at, we need a lot more data center capacity. How are we setting this up? How are the grid lines set up for that? How do we make these processes much more efficient? So that's the space we invest in. We invest globally. So I'm based in San Francisco. My partners are based in Madrid and Singapore.
Madrid?
Yes.
Madrid and Singapore.
And we have teammates in Mexico, Japan, Middle East, Australia, soon to be India. So we are extremely global in that sense. That's true for investments. That's true for investors as well.
I see. Thank you so much. So, as you mentioned, not only investment to startup, so you need to know the big corporate who need their help.
Absolutely. So that's the network. So today we have the largest corporates in the world. So and this is true for developers. This is true for contractors, subcontractors, building material suppliers, software companies. So we have all of them, and we have some of the world's largest players in North America, South America, Middle East, Asia, Europe, all as investors in the fund.
I see. So it's so comprehensive and also, what can I say? It's your strength because of you have over a decade of experience in this specific field. That's why you have connection. That's why you can do it.
We are hoping so. So we're still early. We're still 3-4 years in the journey. But so far we've been able to assess the startups. The startups have done really well. And also startups in a space require trust. All right. So if you don't understand their workflows, if you're not able to add support to them by introducing them to customers or getting them pilots or helping them think through their product strategy, then we're not adding add value to them. So we are high conviction investors. So we have a very concentrated portfolio. We lead a majority of the rounds that we do. We take both seats. So we are always available.
Thank you so much. So look back in 3 to 4 years. So as an example, could you please share some stories?
So I can give you the example of a first investment. This is a company called Document Crunch.
Document Crunch.
Document Crunch.
Based in
Atlanta. It's based in Atlanta. We actually made this investment even before we closed the first one. We even didn't have the first close when we invested in that. But we had high conviction on Josh because he'd been winning all the startup competitions. He'd been building a product which was extremely good. He had the best kind of founder market fit because he was a lawyer in construction and he was trying to automate the contracting process. And we were very compelled by everything that he was building. But at this point, at the time we invested, he didn't even have a full product team. His product was outsourced. So we had to actually, the first thing that we did after investment was to onboard the product team, right? And then we worked with him to put together channel partnerships. So today he has channel partnerships with Procore, Trimble, Nemetschek. These are all the largest players in the space. And for a startup to be able to do that is incredible. He's built in a world-class team. So not just the product team, but also marketing team, the engineering team, everything has been upgraded over a period of time. It's only been 3 years when we invested. He's like grown 40x in those 3 years.
Really?
He's got best-in-class team members, he's got best-in-class partners, he's obviously raised quite a bit of funding now, and even as an individual, we bet on him, but seeing his growth over the last 3 years has been amazing. Because as a founder, you need to keep upgrading yourself because your roles change as the startup changes, especially if you're growing so quickly, your roles are changing very, very quickly, and he's done a really good job of that.
I have never ever seen such a super quick grow startup founders yet. So as a investor, and also I believe you did kind of mentoring, caring of him, right? So the first meeting in person with him, do you remember the first impression?
So yes, I do remember the first time I met Josh. This was even a year or so before I had a fund. This was one of the other founders who introduced me to Josh. And Josh is one of those extremely passionate guys. He will be always energetic. He will always be enthusiastic about what he's presenting. And that rubs off on people, right? You can see his vision, you can see his energy, and you know he'll do anything that it takes to succeed, right? So this is not something that we needed much to be convinced about when we're doing the deal. So all the partners were like, yeah, this has to be the first deal that we do. I literally flew across the country from San Francisco to Atlanta just to give him the term sheet. When we weren't even sure about when we'll close the fund. It was like a couple of weeks away, but we just wanted to make sure we get this done. And that actually won us over because he had like 3 term sheets. And he had 3 term sheets, and for us to win it as a first-time fund was very important for us.
Yeah, so I can imagine the first investment, we tend to maybe risk averse or just, okay, are we okay, making sure. And you guys decided to, yes, we bet you to Josh, right? His personality and good preparation made you decision, okay, we bet you.
So there's a lot of things. The founder is obviously a very important part of the decision, but we also did customer interviews. So we will do customer interviews. We've spoken to the partners. We've seen how their deployment is going over the last year. So we've done a risk assessment. We actually presented our risk assessment to him saying, okay, these are the things why we like you. These are the things which still our things need to be worked. There are risks. And we actually shared it with him, said, okay, this is something you need to work on. And
kind of homework.
It is not just homework, it is something we work on together over a period of time. But these are things that still need to be worked on. But early stage investing is about balancing the risk reward, right? So you look at the potential, but you understand there's some risk. So that exists in every investment that we do.
And after you gave him Josh's kind of suggestion, you need to work on. And his reaction was, yes, and then he did it.
He's incredible. He's really good at taking feedback. He is very open to it. He is very open to it. And it's not that he'll agree to everything upfront. He'll think about it, which is what I want from a founder because I don't know what's right all the time, right? I can provide opinions and I can see what patterns we've seen, but that is one input, right? That's one input that a founder takes. As long as they're willing to listen, as long as they're willing to analyze it and then figure out how to act on it, that's all we can ask for.
These you need to do it and then and then do it quick. These activity step by step is making trust, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it works both ways, right? The founders are receptive to feedback. We are also receptive to feedback, and we also it's important that we are aligned. It's important that we are together on the journey for a long time, because I've already known Josh for 5 years, and this journey is still beginning. So we still have a long ways to go. So it's important that you have the alignment early on, because trust, fit, all of this are important.
So speaking of trust, making trust with the founders. So you are always consistency looking for the new talent startup. So oppositely, maybe the founders who are not good to communicate with investor. For example, I come from a Y Combinator startup who got $16 million fundraising, but they failed because of course, many reasons. But one big thing, first founder was not authentic to team member and neither to investors. So if you have some tips to founder who are struggling to communicate with investor, could you please share?
So the first thing is, make sure you have investors that you feel comfortable with, right? If you don't feel comfortable with the investors that you're getting on board, then it's very difficult to be as transparent as you want to be, right? Once you get the right set of investors, see, you have to realize that these investors are invested in you, right? They win if you win, right? So once that alignment is there, they will do whatever is there to help you, but they can only help if they get information in advance. If you say that you're running out of runway in 2 weeks, it's not a lot that an investor can do in those 2 weeks. But if you know that it's coming in 6 months, 3 months, and so on, then everybody can come together and start thinking about how do we think about this, right? If you're falling short on either team or customer, so think of them as resources. So don't think of this as a report out in the sense of, okay, I'm just giving them information. Think of it as, okay, how can I make sure that I enlist them to support us? How can we make sure that we take the help, support of more and more people? And if you take that mindset, communication becomes easy, right? It's also a muscle that you say, okay, I need to do this at this cadence. And there's multiple ways. There's formal communication, which can be newsletters or reports that you send out. There's informal. You could send them a text or a WhatsApp or call them. So I was talking about Josh, right? Before his Series A, he called me every day for 60 days. So spoke for half an hour, strategized. We did other things. So yes, it doesn't always happen with all founders and so on and so forth, but we're close enough that we spoke literally every day. And that helped him, that helped me understand where he is at, and it led to a good outcome, right? So, but that is because we have that level of trust that we have.
Sorry, official communication is a newsletter. And
it could be a newsletter, monthly letter, monthly meeting, board meetings, could be any of that.
These are to investors.
These are generally, you can also do it to externals.
Like LinkedIn.
So every quarterly, you could publish something that goes to extended network, which just shows how your milestones and tractions are, because you're top of mind then, right? Next time you go fundraising, people know who's coming. It builds your brand with customers. They know which new product features are coming. So communication is not just important to your investors. Communication is important to your customers. It's important to your team. You also need to communicate to your team. So communication is really important all across the organization.
I see. And as an investor, you could see internal team member, internal team. Oh, they have good communication or not. You can see.
Yeah. Obviously, there's the surface communication and there's the internal trust that you're building. So that takes time to assess and so on and so forth, but you get a good glimpse early on.
And as you mentioned, you conducted interview with their customer end users. This
Uh,
is also.
It's important for us because we are in a sector which is, I wouldn't say unique, but sometimes has challenges which are not always seen everywhere, right? So understanding customers, their ability to deploy, how this could expand within there, the future of how this could be applicable to a different set of customers, all of that is important, and spending time with customers is helpful for us.
Thank you so much. It's so insightful. So my personal question. So you could live everywhere, but why do you choose living in Bay Area?
Lots of reasons. So if you're doing venture, this is all but a natural place to live because ecosystem is so strong. People are very open when it comes to new technologies that are coming up and getting deployed. This is like the epicenter. I wouldn't say this is the only place venture happens, which is probably true 20 years back, but it is still the highest concentration, right? That's the first thing. Second thing, from a personal perspective, it's easy to settle in. It's the kind of lifestyle you want. The outdoors is good. Some of my closest friends live here. So from that perspective, the Bay Area makes a lot of sense. And having lived in so many different parts of the world, this place has the best blend. If you look at technology, business, nature, the community, this is a really nice place to live. So that's the reason it's so easy to settle in here.
So as you mentioned, like people are open, you said. People are open in Bay Area, and you mentioned community. So if possible, could you please share your story about community in here?
So I'll give you some examples. So when I was first setting up the venture office for Hilti, right, completely new to this, right? Hilti hadn't done it. We had no people internally to speak with. I had done other work, but not really venture. So we reached out to a lot of people like BMW, Telefonica, Swisscom, bunch of others who had set up their outposts here, and some other generalists and so on, just from a perspective of help us understand how you did this. And the openness in this community to share what they had, to make the connections they have, was incredible. We're like, we can't give anything back to you right now. We're just asking for help. And that's always been true here. So people are willing to open their calendars. People are willing to embrace you from a community perspective. And there's a mindset of pay it forward. It's like, we don't really need anything from you.
I love it.
Yeah, it's a mindset of pay it forward. And it's also different from a few other ecosystems. Some ecosystems are like, I'm indexing over IP, I'm indexing over secrecy, I'm indexing over a few other things, and that's why they tend to be closed. They're like, being closed and not sharing information is my source of strength. Silicon Valley is very different in that sense. Is ideas are cheap, execution is what matters, and the pace of execution is what differentiates you in a lot of cases. And that's why there's willingness to constantly learn and upgrade yourself, because you want to be the person who's moving the fastest. And that happens by sharing more information and absorbing more information. And that's what makes Silicon Valley so different. And the level of talent obviously is extremely high. It is hard to match that.
Yeah, that's why, thanks to this special culture, paid forward, and also there are many talent. It means opportunity. That's why many people want to aim to come to Silicon Valley.
Yeah, and it's been true for so many years now. It's been true for more than 2 decades that Silicon Valley has been like this, and it continues to be the place that innovates the fastest.
Thank you so much. Okay, let's talk about so Coolwater Capital. So Coolwater has a accelerator for investor who want to become a fund manager, and you joined this cohort, correct?
Yeah, we were one of the early cohorts. We're cohort 4, which is 2022. So it's a Coolwater, a lot of it is based on Winter, right? Winter has been a fund manager before, and he's invested in emerging funds before, and he's really driven to create a really cool community, right? For us, it's great that resources like this exist because it's helpful for emerging managers to put their thoughts together, get access to a lot of people, but most importantly, when you're building a firm, you have a lot of questions, thoughts that you don't know what the answers for. And if you have a community of emerging managers around you who can answer this question, then it makes life a lot simpler. And today, I think Coolwater has more than 200 emerging managers in the community, and that's what makes it so powerful. Because people exchange a lot, are very collaborative. A lot of them are co-investors with me in startups now. We've actually exchanged LPs with some of them, but they're really good thought partners. I have a lot of good friends from the Coolwater community, so really appreciate what Winter is building there.
So after I graduate, Coolwater cohort, you got like new good friends or community?
And we still stay in touch. So we still speak often. I go to community events. We actually have Coolwater Slack and WhatsApp groups and so on. So which are fairly active.
I see. Thank you so much. So lastly, Vivin, could you please tell us about your milestone in this 1 year?
Lots of milestones, actually. Just as of this week, we are transitioning from Fund 1 to Fund 2, which is a big milestone for us in the sense that Fund 1 is an experiment in some ways. Now we have kind of proven that we actually can do what we said we could do, and that's expanding into new horizons. So we've been very active. We've done like three deals in the last couple of months. We've welcomed some new investors into the fund, so very happy with that. The thing we're happiest about is the founder feedback that we're getting. So we had like an NPS of 100 both this year and last year, which is usually very hard to do. So that we are very, very happy about. Personally, my daughter is just turned 2, so it's good to be getting to spend some time with her. So on personal sides, that's what's going on. It feels like we have a startup that is growing up, and that's good to see.
Yeah. Okay, last question, my personal. So if you can say, what do you think? Work in your definition, please tell us.
Where I'm today, it feels like more a passion project than a job. Is what I'm doing, because a job is basically a task or a role that you're performing at a firm, right? And work is a component of that. For me, this is building something. What we're doing today is building something that can bring together a community in the built environment and solve some of the world's largest problems. And we are enabling the smartest entrepreneurs to be able to do that. So that's what I feel like my job is to do, but doesn't feel like work to me.
I love that passion project. I see. Always makes you so exciting.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's what drives us. Because to other emerging managers out there, it's never easy being an emerging manager. There's a lot. It's like a startup, but the product is you, right? The product is you, and you have to think really long term, because none of the things that you do are short term. So you only do it if you're really passionate about what you're doing.
Okay, thank you so much, Vivin. So if you are interested in talk with him, reach out LinkedIn.
LinkedIn is the easiest way. Okay, thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. The 3 key takeaways from the conversation with Vivin. 1. Investing in the built environment for productivity, sustainability, and resilience. Zacua Ventures focus on everything in the built environment, the physical world around us. They might invest in a startup building AI-powered robot to make construction site more efficient, or in companies developing low-carbon cement to reduce emission from buildings. They also look at resilience infrastructure, such as smarter grid systems, to handle the explosion of new data centers needed for AI. 2. High conviction, hands-on investing. Unlike some funds that spread money across dozens of startups, Zacua chose a concentrated portfolio and gets deeply involved. Example: their first investment, Document Crunch helps construction companies automate legal contracts. When Zacua invested, the product team didn't even exist, so they helped hire one, introduced the startup to giant partners like Procore and Trimble, and supported its strategy. In just 3 years, the company grew 40 times. 3. Trust, communication, and community as core values. Vivin emphasized that startups succeed when trust and transparency with investors are strong. Investors are not just founders. They can be partners, strategists, and connectors. One founder called Vivin every day for 60 days before raising the Series A round to strategize together. That level of openness built trust and led to a successful outcome. Vivin also credits Silicon Valley pay-it-forward culture where people freely share knowledge and connections as a reason why the Bay Area remains a hub of innovation. Okay, thank you so much for watching our episode today. We hope today's conversation will help your future and career. If you like it, please subscribe us and give you a like. Okay, thank you so much. Bye bye. またね。チャオ。